are the Seahawks handling the quarterback position, and does it mean that pretty much anyone could play under center? I don't know that I fully agree with it, but we got two different takes here. The first, it's a Sports Illustrated column from the Broncos Sports Illustrated, and they basically have a take that Seattle can be second chance you if Drew Lock becomes the next franchise quarterback and plays well. So it's like, wow, you're going through all of these quarterbacks and no one's. What's up, Bump?
Nothing. Continue.
Okay. But there's another take about how it doesn't matter who's under center, that Seattle is one of 5 offenses who could succeed no matter who's at quarterback. So let's talk about whether or not Drew could be the guy.
All right. Let's do it.
Let's have your take here.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So I read that article and I'm like, okay, I see what the Hawks are doing. I started thinking about Russell Wilson and how they pass up on Matt Flynn and say, all right, we're paying you $10 million. We're going to go with the quarterback who we think is best for our situation. Get Russell for 10 years, and then he leaves. Everyone hates him. And you're saying
They really do.
Right.
Poor Russ.
And you're saying, all right, who's gonna be the next guy to fill his shoes? You and I are sitting here saying, you got to go get somebody. You got to get a proven guy, a guy who showed he can play in this league. The Hawks go, you know what? Relax. We're gonna give Drew Lock and Geno Smith a chance. Their second chance, right? So they battle it out during preseason. Lock gets COVID, and it's evident that Geno's going to be the dude. Geno gets a second chance in this league. Boom, last chance you. I love that that series on Netflix. Holler it if you haven't seen it. They got football and basketball. Good. So now you got Geno for at least 3 years. Geno, he's getting long in the tooth, 32 years old. When it's all said and done, he'll be about 34, 35, and we'll see if they want to re-up. Say they don't decide to re-up and they go, look, we're going to hang on to Drew Lock. And they're talking to Drew Lock about their plans and their future and saying, look, we're going to give you a second chance. Bam, second chance you. So I'm looking at the Seahawks and I go, are they moving differently when it comes to the quarterback position? We talked about how teams – I think it was we talked about the 49ers. We talked about the Eagles, how their approach to quarterback has just been a bit different. We're not going to go after the first-round pick, the number 5 pick. We're going to go after a guy later in the draft. We don't have to pay him as much. And if we have to pay him eventually 4 or 5 years from now, that means we done good and we found somebody on the low, but there's a few years where we don't have to pay him. I'm looking at the Seahawks, and I'm saying, all right, what's their approach? As long as Pete Carroll and John Schneider are here, is their approach going to be, let's find a guy at the quarterback spot to where it didn't work out somewhere else. Let's bring him here because he knows our system and can run our system. We've seen them do that with multiple players, position players, throughout the years. But are they going to take this approach when it comes to the quarterback spot, and do I like it? And I'm thinking, all right, I might like it because you know why? If you do get a second chance you type of guy, you ain't got to pay him that much. You're not going to pay him $45, $50 million a year. Teams have already given up on this person. And we know that teams give up on the quarterbacks more quickly than any other position in football. So they can find a guy, right, a veteran, 4, 5, 6 years in the league, bring him here and keep that train rolling. It just changes the way that we look at building football teams. Because I think we always think you need a quarterback, you need a really good defense. So now I think they're saying, look, you need a supporting cast everywhere and a quarterback that is just good enough to run what you want him to run and have everyone else pick up the slack. And it's interesting because I don't see a lot of teams that have taken the approach that the Hawks have taken over the past few years.
Yeah, it's a bit unique when it comes to them. It's almost like Ryan Tannehill with the Titans with a different style of team and Tannehill with different skills, but that kind of like second chance elsewhere kind of quarterback who finds a second wind, and all of a sudden people are like, did we give up on this guy way too soon? The interesting thing about making the argument for teams that have managed to make quarterback less a factor on their team and more of just kind of like someone who can succeed no matter what because they have such a great team around them. You're right. The Eagles of late and the 49ers are the best 2 examples of that. Both teams have been to a Super Bowl. Neither has won.
Right.
And both, in fact, lost to the same quarterback.
Yep. Well, I look at the Niners and I go, well, their quarterback got hurt. Who knows what would have happened there?
What about Jimmy G when he was taking him there?
Jimmy G, he's different because he was proven in this league already, I feel like. No,
I mean,
no,
still, though,
he
a
was coming
second
from New
rounder.
England. I'm sorry, he was coming from New
second
England.
rounder who was drafted as
Yeah.
like a maybe successor, maybe, but we'll kind of take a flyer. I mean, it was the same kind of Jalen Hurts thing where it's like maybe this guy's the successor, maybe not. So we'll just kind of use a second rounder, but not like more draft capital than that.
Yeah, I think. But what does getting to a Super Bowl at least do to your fan base? It makes you.
Oh, for sure. I would
believe,
never
right?
look down my nose at getting to a
Like,
Super Bowl.
I'm in it. We're one of 2 teams left. Now, Jimmy hasn't won the big game, and maybe he doesn't have the personality to win that big game. And that could be what separates these second chance dudes to these number 1 first round picks. I just thought it was interesting that the Hawks don't seem in a hurry to go out and get the next best thing.
Yeah.
They're
that's a
the
good
type,
point.
they're the rehabilitation center.
Yeah.
You come here, we'll get you right, man. What do you got trouble with? Don't worry, we got something for that. We got a program
Hi, my name is
that's gonna
Gina
work for
Smith.
you.
I lost my job with the Jets.
I lost with the Jets. I've sat behind 3 Pro
Hi,
Bowlers.
Gina. Welcome.
I've been,
Welcome.
been really patient.
Yeah.
You know, hey, Drew Lock. Hey, Drew. Hi, my name is Drew. 2 offensive coordinators in Denver didn't work out for me. I'm most known for rapping Young Jeezy lyrics on the sideline. I'm looking to get better. So I just think it's interesting to watch how different teams take the approach at the quarterback position. But I think you're right. The position or the approach that is more successful is going out and getting you a guy who tore it up in college.
Yep.